Hi folks, I did a watercolour for my patrons on Saturday. I haven't painted since. Well, I didn't paint yesterday, so it's just one day missing. And it turned out to be a sort of a tutorial on how to rescue a painting that's going wrong. But I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do a woodland scene. Basing it on a Ron Ranson painting. I'm a bit bereft of inspiration this morning. So I'm just going to use three colours: raw sienna, ultramarine, and Payne's grey. You can learn a lot by using two or three colours. So it's not quite. Well, I'll wet the paper first. This is a piece of, I think it's Bocking Phillips. It's out of the Langton. It's 16 inches by 12. It's £140. It's good quality stuff. Data round it. There you go. Just wet the paper. Okay, now I'm going to put in a wash of raw sienna. I think the raw sienna is artist quality. Perhaps not. It was from Ken Bromley. Here's the art. Well, too much on that. I just want to stain just a little bit of. Let's go all over with this. Just gives it a nice warm colour to start with, and a bit of a glow with a bit of luck. And all the paints dry much lighter than when you put them on. So there we are. We've stained the paper. I think Ron used to go straight in with a wet wash of raw sienna, but I can't remember. But I learnt a lot from Ron Ranson from washing videos from the art club that I belonged to for many years. I occasionally I demonstrate for them now. Right, now we'll just put in some background, a bit of such a Payne's grey. Okay, so that's a background colour. Hopefully that will dry. Probably it's a bit faint because it will dry almost and disappear. That I don't want. I just want it on the edge of disappearing. Just bring the Okay, so that would do for a beginning. And as that dries in, we can paint into it. All right. Let's just mix a bit of this and a bit of that. We'll have a bit of a path going through here. And when that dries off a bit, we can go in with a bit of a. I've got a wodge of it on the brush, on the corner of the brush. Look. Pull out any hairs. All right. Right, let's put in a bit of water on that side, puddles. Okay, just pull that tight again. The 15 by 12 is more suitable for this, my bit of wardrobe that I cannibalised some years ago. I've had this board for years. Right now, you can easily scrape this paper. We can put some fainter the problem is if you do it too quick, the paper backfills and you get a dark line instead of a clear white scraping. But anyway, no, just waiting for that to dry off a little bit. Well, meanwhile, I'll get the medium hake out. I think just clean the brush. Put that aside. What I want to do is to use this brush or this medium hake as a sort of texture brush. But let's just get a little bit of a variety in here. Bit of green. You can make a green with the burnt sienna and well, you can, not burnt sienna, the Payne's grey. Or you use a bit of the blue. It's a bit wet at the moment, really, but right, just texture in here. That's drying off, just a bit of some grasses stuff. Alright, let's get some dark in here. Look, you can get all loads of colours with those three. Let's just fill in here. Right, it's a bit of heavier background now. Let's see. Oh, so a little bit of a sienna. Call this texturing, not detail. Detail is fiddling, or it can be. But this is just my sort of approach to painting, and I change my views. Let's get some of those trees that higher than the others. You don't want to repeat yourself. Easier said than done. Quite hard to work without reds or burnt sienna. I love my burnt sienna. I'll just darken this here a little bit. Just blue grey. Make sure you're dissolved. Just a bit of leafage behind. Right, now I'm going to put some other stuff in now. That's you can. I prefer to use the hake for doing my trunks. So let's get a bit of that. Nice and dark. Oh, we can just sort of come up here with I will use a rigger. Right, so let's get some different ones on there. So get sort of a fainter bluey grey. Alright, let's get some darker stuff in the other side. Right, okay. Now we need to sort of anchor those trees a little bit. I haven't used a lot of ultramarine in this. If you're new to the hake, bear with it, because it will reward you. It's a lovely brush to use. They do misbehave, but that's the part of the fun of them. You can get some random stuff going. They don't mean anything, but other than brush strokes that have gone not wrong, but never goes wrong until it does. We need to just bury those trunks. Right, now we'll put in some leaves. I'll use the medium hake for that, I think. Put too much water on the brush. Lost it there, so let's just right, so now we've got to put in some trunks and some stuff on there. Bit of ivy going up the tree. Right, I'm waiting for that to dry really, or dry off a bit, so that I can use the rigger. A bit bouncy there. So you don't need to pre-stretch your paper, apart from the fact that this is quite a heavy paper, but it will still buckle. I'm going to use a few little bits. So we get some, well, for oil is just a bit of a wriggly thing in there, just a reflection. There's a bit of sort of shadow cast from that little hill. I'll put that in. Well, just to give a bit of tracery in here. Remember, some twigs come down, so I'll just go up. I won't overdo that. Overdoing is very, very easy to do, but once you've done it, it's too late. It's what you leave out that is the important thing. Okay, well, I don't think I want to do more than that. I put in the reflections. It's all nice dark there. Put the birds in. Sign it. It's probably a bit damp. Right, so put the mount on, the double mount that is. Hopefully I've gone far enough to the edges, so maybe let's cover those bits. Well, there we are, three colour landscape based on the painting by Ron Ranson. Ron Ranson the Great. I don't think Ron would ever claim to be a great artist. He was made redundant when he was about 50, I think, from advertising or graphic stuff. And he came across Edward Seago, like we all do, or and thought, well, I've got nothing else to do. I'll learn to do watercolour painting, which he did. And he made terrific advances in impressionist watercolour. And I'll never forget the video that I borrowed from the art group. It just changed my painting life. I won't say changed my life, but it changed the way I looked at painting because I was struggling. I joined the club, but I wasn't very good. And this, for those of you that are thinking of joining a club or are responsible for being secretary of one, it's not where a person, a new conscript is, it's where they will be in 10 years' time. Because a lot of artist clubs will only go for people that are good at the time, really good at the time, and not thinking where they will be if they persevere in 10 years. They might be the next John Constable or Turner, mightn't they? So there's just a thought that I had when I got accepted straight away with 3 small, lousy watercolours. But they had the foresight to think, well, if he stays with it, he'll, pardon the cost of joining the club, that he will improve and become a good artist at some stage. So those of you that are beginning, join a club. That's all I'm saying. Join a club and you'll meet other people that'll all be sympathetic to where you are and what you're doing. And then you will have exhibition facilities, which is always good. So something that's that one just peters out. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. I know I should go on, but I think I'm entitled to a bit of an opinion for what it's worth. I belong to a club nearby, a Carshalton and Wallington Art Club. Super club. I was with 90 members when I joined, about 40 odd years ago, 35 years ago. And I met other people that weren't as good as me or were a lot better than me, but I stayed with them for 25 years. And you learn a lot. And it's a great crowd, and a big club can afford to pay for professional demonstrators, which is lovely. The demonstrators in my time were mainly Keith Birkinshaw, died. Ted Wesson, probably the best in impressionist painting. He did wonderful line and wash paintings. Terry Harrison, great acrylic painter, a really entertaining guy. Would do 3 demonstrations in the hour and a half given to him, and he became quite a regular at our club. And I've got one of his demonstrations. So if you're thinking of using acrylic for watercolour, no problem there. But once you wet the paper or paint straight on, the wet acrylic will blend out like this, but then it will stop. It will go so far and stop, and you'll get a line. So he would do his acrylic skies in watercolour first, and then that would be right. And then you go into the heavy stuff in the foreground and the middle distance. But these were great demonstrators. We had Bellamy. Is it David Bellamy? I can't see. I've got loads and loads of art books. I don't know what's going to happen to them when I'm gone. I'm the only person I know that is actually